Oh, hello. Welcome in. So this is my studio. Obviously, this is going to be a studio tour video. I'll go over all the things that I use, all the gear that I have. I'll try to link as much as I can in the description below. But without further ado, let's get started. So the area that I use is just an extra room in our basement in our home. And it's kind of set up into like three different areas. So this first area is like our podcast center. My wife and I have a podcast that we do weekly, or we try to do weekly. Sometimes it can be bi-weekly. She's also holding the camera, so thank you for that. So we used to sit next to each other on the couch, but as I moved the room around and adjusted things, it always kind of seemed like we were kind of running out of space. So when we spread the room out a little bit, she still kind of sits here on her end of the couch, and we do use, or she has the Rode pod mic as her mic of choice with this nice purple little pop filter right on there. We do use the Rode NTH1 headphones. These are the best headphones that I've come across for podcasting, and honestly for any video editing that you're going to do, sound editing, these are really great to use. So she'll sit here, and then I kind of just sit at my desk here. This desk we'll get to a little bit later, but I am using the Shure MV7 microphone. I do have a Shure SMB that I occasionally will swap in and out, but that is upstairs at my gaming setup, which will be another video for another time. But same stand, same headphones, and they are both running into the Mackie DLZ Creator. This is a really solid machine. Not only does it have four XLR connections, but it also has all the different faders you need, all the preamps, all the mixing. It's again a really solid machine. And this trunk thing here, this tool chest, is just kind of for storage purposes. I'm sure you've seen this on a lot of other YouTube creator studio tours. It's just a nice way to keep gear organized and safe and secure. I don't have it organized as much as I probably should. You can kind of take a peek in here that there's a little bit of some organized chaos. This is kind of photo stuff here. I originally wanted to keep this to be like more audio stuff. That one's kind of empty. That one's kind of empty. It used to have cameras in it, but we took all the cameras out, and then more storage and boxes and etc. So again, not as organized as it probably should be, but hey, that's just how it goes, I guess. So over here on this side of the room, this is a newer, I guess, area that I have. It is mainly for top-down shots and product photography. So if I'm doing a video on a product and I want to have some B-roll, or I want to take a nice thumbnail or an Instagram post, I use this space here. It's just a IKEA table, and then I have these really nice vinyl paper from Club Backdrop is the name of the company. They have really solid designs. These are different colors. I have a standard gray, like a beige kind of, a brown, and this really cool green. So they either can lay here and I can do the top down, or sometimes I'll hook them up on this clothing rack and just have them kind of drape over the table to kind of get a nice studio look, I guess, to the photos. The light I'm using up here is just a Zhiyun G60 or 60X. I forget the name. It's like the really small Zhiyun one. They sent me all the lights, so thank you to them. I appreciate it. And then moving on to, I guess, my main desk setup. This is where you see me in all the YouTube videos. This is where I sit. This is also where I edit my videos with the Mac Studio Display. And then there's us on the TV over there. This camera over here is an FX30. So this used to be my main camera. It's a really solid camera. I use this more for B-roll or if I'm like out and about, not in studio recording, because what my wife is using to record this video is the A7 IV. That's a really great camera to use, but again, it's more for the studio because it does have some overheating issues. It is a hybrid camera, so it does take phenomenal photos. The FX30, not so much for photos. But again, the FX30 has internal fans, internal heating control. So again, this camera is more durable and more reliable if I'm not in a studio setting. Plus it's all rigged out and has all the cool, fun things on it. So I like to take that about more often. I guess this used to be like an IKEA closet wardrobe area. It used to be like the whole wall, because this actually used to be a bedroom before this was a studio. So we took out most of it, but left a lot of it, again, more for storage, boxes, camera bags, etc. This was a older mixer we use for the podcast. It is the Rodecaster Duo. I do still use this though for my audio specific for the YouTube channel. You can see here this Rode XLR cable runs up over the C-stand and it goes into my Sennheiser MKE60, I think is what it's called. If I got that wrong, I'll correct it here. But again, really solid microphone. I used to use, as I said earlier, the SM7B on my desk, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit cleaner of a photo or of an image and have a shotgun mic out of frame. So this is the one I went with, and it's been solid ever since. This is kind of like a Frankenstein thing that we made. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I was thinking about putting the mic at the end of this, and it's kind of just being held down by a dumbbell, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna probably need more stability if I want to put like a camera on this, but again, it might be good for the mic, which would then free me up the C-stand to use as an overhead rig or just if I need it for anything else. But who knows, it might be easier just to buy another C-stand, but we'll see come Black Friday. Again, this is my desk. This is just a uplift desk, a sitting, or what are they called? Stand sit desk from the company Uplift. I bought that with my own money years ago. It's just a really solid desk to use. It looks nice in frame. I don't really ever use it as a standing desk anymore, but it's still a good sized desk. This is the Herman Miller Aeron chair. These chairs can be quite expensive, but you can probably find these on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist for $200 to $300. And I would say it's definitely worth that because they are very comfortable. You've probably seen like a few other things kind of thrown about. I'm not gonna like go over every single item that I have. But I have some other cameras here. This is the one I use mainly for photography. This is the Lumix S5 II. So that's really solid. Over there in that back corner is the Leica Q2 monochrome. That is a recent addition to our camera bag, and I have a video on that, so if you haven't seen that, you can watch it here or here, wherever the pop-up goes. I'll link it there. But it's a really solid camera. And as for the light I'm using, it is another Zhiyun 60-watt light. It's, again, really solid. For a key light, you don't really need a whole lot of power. So it does what it needs to do. The softbox on it is great. I have the grid to kind of control the light so it doesn't spill into my background. So again, that light has been really solid for me. And over there is kind of like my roller tripod. I'll walk over there. I had a whole tripod thing built where I was gonna have this all-in-one stand. But again, this is what I have right now. I like how it's on wheels. I can move it around if I need to tripods can just get really big and bulky, as you saw with the FX31. So it's nice to have this low to the ground and on wheels so it can be moved if needed. Of course, it's empty because the camera I use for my videos is the A7 IV, and of course that is the one being used right now. So that is why that is empty. This TV, I just sometimes have it on while I'm recording so I can view myself. It's better than just looking at a little external monitor, 5-inch monitor. Right now it's just on this camera, but again, it definitely gives me a good idea of when I'm recording. I can see myself and make sure everything's good. Another thing for this setup is these tiles. I don't know if you saw this on the ceiling, or not really tiles, but these are sound blankets. Instead of buying the giant sound blanket, I think they're from Producer's Choice, I believe is the company. I didn't really have a place to hang sound blankets. So you can actually see under the TV is a moving blanket that I just threw up there to kind of hide some of the sound, because behind that wall is just like an open, vast, empty space. But these tiles in the ceiling really helped with the noise above this room and also just keeping everything controlled. So when I'm speaking, you know, my voice is bouncing off of the desk and going straight up, and it kind of catches those sounds, those sound waves, and it makes it a lot cleaner sounding in here. So if the first thing you're going to buy in your studio is, if it's not sound treated, definitely check out some of these blankets, because a lot of viewers will forgive bad video, but it's really hard to forgive bad audio, because that is kind of the whole center of the video. Is if it looks great but it sounds horrible, then people are just going to turn it off. Anyway, over here, I forgot I mentioned, I do have this Amaran 150C on this, another low boy stand. This is nice. Again, it's on wheels. I like having things on wheels. Everything can be moved around if I need to. But this light is really solid. It is, again, a lot brighter than the 60 watt. It is also full RGB, full color. But what I use it for, and what I really appreciate about it, is it has this spotlight adapter as well. So this just clicks on and off right here, and it just lets you like mold the shape of the light a little bit better. If I can get it to go back on there. There we go. And it comes with these different gobos, which right now what I have in is some blinds. So if you've seen some of my videos and it looks like there's a window behind me, I'll kind of just shine it over there. You can see that this makes a cool shape that looks like, you know, window blinds. So it's definitely a cool thing to have to kind of add some texture to your videos, or if you're having, you know, a product being showcased on a desk and you want to add some extra contrast or extra, you know, texture, that's definitely a cool thing to have. Again, this is the Amaran 150C and the Amaran Spotlight SE. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty small space, but again, it's very functional. You know, the setup in the 3 different kind of areas that I work in has definitely been a good way for us to organize the room. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what I work with. These are the videos that you see that I make on the channel. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment. If you have a question about equipment that I didn't say for some reason, or if you see something in the background that sparks your interest, let me know, and I'll get back to you when I can. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.